Goob Noob?
Are we recording?
Goob Noob? Yes. Yes, we are recording, Ben. That's what the red light means.
Rob,
There's like 4 cameras on you. There's so many red lights. That means we're recording.
why you gotta be a dick all the time?
That's it. That's our cold open for this one. Just gonna fight. Okay, we are here to discuss another insperiority, and for Ben, because he doesn't know, that is a portmanteau of inspiration and inferiority. When you are inspired by things and you want to create because of it, but you feel that your creations aren't going to live up to that same thing that started that fire.
Yeah.
And today, we are talking about, I think, one that I certainly consider an inferiority, and I think it's a song Ben likes for the most part. We are discussing Hannah Hunt from Vampire Weekend's 2013 album, Modern Vampires of the City. Yes, the one that won literally all of the Grammys. That was that one.
Shit.
So, Hannah Hunt, I think, is one of the less pronounced songs on that album. You know, when that came out, it was Diane Young, it was Ya Hey, it was Step, it was but people went crazy for this album.
Yeah.
But Hannah Hunt, I think,
Diane Young.
oh yeah, definitely. I think Hannah Hunt just kind of fell off the radar because of the main reason I think I love it so much. How slow it is.
It's very slow.
It's speed. It's a ballad almost. It's a lullaby, the first half of the song, I would say.
Some songs, some artists can really get away with making a slow song that just really kind of pulls me in. Like Slow Town, I think, by 21 Pilots is a really good example of a song that's like, it's slower and it really like catches me in that way.
And then when you get the build-up, when, you know, at the end, it feels like you've earned it type of thing.
Yeah,
definitely. Oh, that's a great example, because I feel the same way about this song, because there's certainly that build-up to when we get, you know, the second half of this song, when, you know, he's not really, Ezra Koenig isn't really screaming.
No, but he's got some emotion.
Yeah, and it's like, that is earned.
Is that when he's singing, "If I Can't Trust You, Then Damn It, Hannah"? He's kind of like...
Yes, and that's when the piano comes in, and, oh, it's so good. It's so good.
Though we live on the U.S. dollar, you and me, we got our own sense of time.
So I've already said this is an inferiority for me, but I have to say, I would be remiss if I left it out. I keep playlists on my phone with my music, and there's 2 very special playlists that I keep, which are my favorite songs ever. One is based on lyrics, one is based on sound, and this is on The Beauty of Sound. It's been on there for a long time. This is one of my favorite songs ever. I love it so much.
You like the sound of it more than the lyrics?
Oh yeah. So now, I think that's where I want to go with this, because Ben and I actually have a little bit of history with this song. We listened to this album back in the day, when we used to live near each other.
Yes.
And I remember there was a few times, you know, we were smoking on a porch, listening to this song, this album. And we, I think, fell into the rattle that everybody else did. You know, we were listening to Ya Hey and Diane Young a lot more, and even the older Vampire Weekend, I think. You know, Oxford Comma we started listening to and stuff like that.
Yeah. Oxford Comma's a good one.
But I think we liked Hannah Hunt.
We never skipped it.
No, yeah. I remember for certain we talked about the line, you know, he says, "Though we live on the U.S. dollar, you and me, we got our own sense of time." And I definitely interpret that as a very long-winded way to say time is money. Like, we live on the U.S. dollar, but we have our own sense of time, so it's like time is money. That's how I've always thought of it.
Yeah.
I remember talking about that, but it was only in years later, I think after I moved away from Ben to try and escape him, clearly that failed, and that I kind of realized
I drove 23 hours to make that fail.
I kind of realized that there was some deeper levels of interpretation of this song. Because it is very much, the lyrics are surface level, like they tell a story almost.
Yeah.
And I think that story, which it seems to me, you know, I'd love to get your opinion on it, Ben, that it's kind of like, I don't know, they're on a road trip, the narrator and Hannah are traveling to some extent, and, you know, you have all that stuff
going
about...
to Phoenix, and it says in the first verse.
Ah, yes, Providence to Phoenix.
Yep.
And, you know, when glided through Waverly and Lincoln, and, you know, when the says, I miss those freezing beaches, up there East Coast, like Rhode Island, Providence,
Right.
Maine, stuff like
Right.
that.
And they're
So
down to the hot Southwest.
yeah. And so I definitely always just kind of thought of it as a story, which I think there's nothing wrong with. It's a good story. He sings it well. But then I started to really get it in my head that the narrator and Hannah Hunt are the same person. Like, for some reason, I latched onto the idea that this is like a split personality type of thing. Maybe not specifically talking about, dissociative identity disorder, but just kind of like two different emotions or two different states on such a trip that are kind of coming through between this person telling this story. I think I said this to Ben once before in a Facebook message, so it had to get condensed down to like 58 seconds. But what do you think about that now, Ben?
So I'm curious what it is making you think that. There's nothing overtly sticking out to me that would suggest that. He does say things like, "If I can't trust you, then damn it, Hannah."
There's no future, there's no answer. I would definitely take that as, I can't. If you can't trust yourself, then there's no future, there's no answer. But to answer your original question, I would say it's the second verse, specifically when a man of faith said, "Hidden eyes could see what I was thinking," and he says, "I just smiled and told him that's only true of Hannah." So it's like, oh, hidden eyes can see what you're thinking, and it's like, no, only Hannah can see what I'm thinking because Hannah is me. That was kind of the spark for that idea.
I could see that as being like the kind of instigating factor there. That could certainly, like, people use that kind of language about love interests.
True, absolutely. They know you better than you know yourself, type of thing, right?
Right, and that does happen in relationships where people have been around each other long enough. You'll be able to see from the outside, like, oh, this person's really irritated. They need to go meditate or go hit some golf balls or something, like something that they do that calms them down, but they're so angry they can't see it. So that really does happen in long-term relationships.
Yeah, I'm seeing it right now on Ben's face. He's got a huge temple popping out his head because he has to talk to me.
A huge temple?
Yes, literally like a
Buddhist,
synagogue. Like a synagogue is protruding from your forehead, Ben.
Is that anti-Semitic?
No, it's true to form. It's not like a character or anything.
Okay. It's on my forehead. Though.
Yeah, so that's interesting. So I could see that there's definitely the relationship angle of it for sure.
Right.
It has that interpretation.
And like the chorus, if I can't trust you, then damn it, Hannah, there's no future, there's no answer. Like, that can totally be relationships. Like, if I can't trust you, then we can't be together.
Absolutely.
Because trust is a strong foundation for relationships. You and me, we got our own sense of time. That's kind of lends. I feel like that's still relationship material. Like, whenever we're around each other, time doesn't mean much.
Sure. You're bringing up a good point. But now, as you describe it more, I'm even thinking to myself, aren't we really describing the same thing? Like, it's just about a relationship. The song doesn't really specify if it's about someone who's physically a different person from you or yourself. Because to some extent, the way you should foster a relationship with another is how you should care for yourself.
Yeah.
And so really, it could just be relationship in general, and we just latched on to two different things, as we are off to do.
Am I allowed to talk about Watsky?
Which song are you trying to reference? And isn't it Watsky?
Is it Welcome to the Family? He says, "You're hard to love when you don't love yourself."
Oh yeah.
Welcome to the Family.
Say you're tough to love when you don't love yourself.
Yeah.
You mean to tell me, you're tough to love when you don't love yourself?
So what made me think of that, of course, is the way you should develop a relationship with someone else is how you should develop one with yourself.
Yeah.
If you don't love yourself, it is hard to love other people. Like, that's totally true.
I think we just cracked this song wide open.
Yeah. So it's what I can say is I think Vampire Weekend has enough depth to them that they could have been speaking about something that
Definitely, absolutely.
But this totally could just be a story.
True, yeah.
And I do think, narrative-wise, a lot of humans kind of wrap their entire existence up in a story.
Definitely.
And so, regardless of whether they meant this, stories always have more meaning than, in my opinion, than the author even intended most
Exactly,
of the time.
yeah. Because you don't know how anyone else is going to take it.
Well, not only do you not know how they're going to take it, you don't know what made you write it in the first place.
True, yeah. The function of the human creativity, it's like your brain thinks of something consciously or subconsciously,
right.
And then when you produce it, create it, write it down, whatever, your body does something to that. You don't know all of those sources. It's certainly a transformation that gets put onto it. Might not come out the same way you envisioned it completely because of those unforeseen forces.
It's similar to dreaming, in the sense that when you're dreaming, your brain produces some images, and there, for a while it was thought that maybe these were random, but it's obvious that they can't be random.
Mm-hmm.
Like if it was random, we'd be seeing fucking like TV snow. Like it's random.
You don't dream that?
Not all the time.
Ben's like, no, I just got the colored bars.
It's actually I dream of TV snow, but it's in widescreen on a square TV. So I got black bars and then snow.
Nice.
What the fuck was I talking about, Rob?
Dreams. You went off on dream tangent.
So yeah, when you're dreaming, it's one of the schools of thought about dreaming is that it's your brain, all the information that your brain has kind of just received subconsciously being turned into a message, and it's always in some kind of story format.
Okay.
And then you can learn from that. So you can actually learn something that you already knew from a different part of your brain because of how disconnected they are. And so I think writing is very similar in the sense that, some of the way that people interact, like you're writing them that way because you've seen it.
Yeah.
Like you may not know that. And you're also going to structure your stories in ways that fit patterns you've seen in real life.
Yeah, you have some experience with it.
Yeah. So
right on.
Could this be a story about how you love yourself?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, certainly. And the author might not have even known that.
Exactly. And that's really cool.
Yeah. And it could even be to the point it's so hidden from them that they may never know it, and it could be that it had nothing to do with their motivation whatsoever.
Indeed. Yeah.
So, and then that could just be like, well, now us as fans are interpreting some shit that's not there.
Yeah.
Which is, I guess, yeah.
I'm fine with that. I think even if something that's always been, the few people I've encountered who are like, very strict with their interpretations, or they feel that some interpretations are wrong. A common thing that they will do is they'll be like, go back to the person who wrote it and ask them, and that's the absolute, And it's like, no, like even if Vampire Weekend came to us and said, listen, you got this all wrong, I'd be like, glad you think that, man, but I still love this song and I'm still going to interpret it the way I have been.
Right. No, and there's some value to that. I mean, when you're doing art, like, sure, maybe there's a certain message you're trying to convey or whatever, but I feel like when I'm painting, for instance, I want whatever message you get from it,
yes,
to stay intact to the degree that it can.
Yes.
And normally I feel like that's you projecting your own subconscious beliefs,
absolutely,
things that maybe you're not aware of onto it. It's you giving yourself advice almost. By looking at my art.
Yeah, definitely. I think that's exactly, I think of art as, it's almost like a very strange type of mirror. Like a mirror we think of as, we see ourselves, we see our reflection, but, there's other things to see other than physical type of thing. Makes you think about it.
It's, I don't know, maybe the basis for Rorschach tests is...
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Yeah, there we go.
So these are Rorschach tests out in the wild. So
we should use the songs of this series as like a musical Rorschach test. To be like, what do you think this song is about?
That, I don't know, it could be effective.
And then one dude we interview is going to be like, every one of them is about death. They're all about murder. And it's like, whoa, okay, man. If you got that from Are You Looking for Action, you need some help, okay?
Are you looking for murder action? Man, there's a song by Scroobius Pip that is about murder. He's just like, one of the lines is something like, I'm Johnny Depp, and I kill people.
Oh, yeah, I think I heard that one.
That's a great song.
My name is Johnny Depp, and I kill people.
Alright, so
Pip.
We've got the story angle, we have the potential love yourself angle, we have the potential different personality angle.
So many angles.
Tied to that.
So many angles.
There's coming at you from every side, really.
Coming at you from every side.
Coming at you from every side.
I think that's what's going on here with this song.
Yeah, it's great.
Do you have any final thoughts?
Yeah, I guess I'll ask you a final question. I would love to know, do you live on the U.S. dollar?
I've always found that they're not roomy enough. Like I've tried to build an apartment or something on a U.S. dollar, and it's real tiny.
That's a good answer. That's literally what I wanted your opinion on, because I thought I could set up, maybe save the money on rent every month and just hop on $1.
Yeah, just out in the park or something.
That's what I'm gonna go. I'm gonna go by a street corner and ask people for money, and the first dollar I get, I'm just gonna sit on it, and I'm gonna put my homeless sign down because I will no longer be homeless.
Yeah, I've always had trouble living on. I mean, don't like I buy all my groceries with money, but I can never live on $1.
Okay. Okay, cool. Good to know.
Yeah.
We're getting a little bit more about Ben's backstory every episode. Okay, I like it.
Yeah, I mean, you gotta slowly expose yourself. If you do it too fast, people call the cops. So
Yes. Take it for Ben. His word of advice to depart for this episode is expose yourself slowly, otherwise they will call the cops. So make sure that trench coat opens with a dramatic emphasis.
Yes, yeah, it's got to be. It needs to look like I'm watching a slow-mo movie.
Does music play as it's opening?
If you're not carrying your own music box, I mean, I can understand that because you're going to keep it.
But I can't help you, you poor fool.
but it is foolish. It is foolish not to do so. So yeah,
you gotta set the mood, right?
You gotta pick the right song.
Oh my God! Now I'm just thinking that there's a flasher with a trench coat who exposes himself to people, but when he opens his trench coat, it plays "Are You Looking for Action?"
That's movie material.
I think we should go on Shark Tank and try and actually get money to manufacture this.
Manufacture the person in the movie.
No, the actual trench coat product that you can buy. So we can.
It just plays the music.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, but it's not like you choose your music. It's only "Are You Looking for Action?"
Course, yeah.
That's going to be what the whole segment of our airing on Shark Tank is going to be about. They'll be like, we want other songs, and we're going to be like steadfastly no. Like we will turn down a deal because it can only be this song.
We're gonna have some kind of like automated player as soon as light touches it. Or
Definitely,
something.
and it's going to be so if you close it, it stops.
Right.
So you can do like some fast like. That's probably you're gonna work out if you're closing it that fast.
I don't know your little impersonation here. That was pretty good. So, your imitation of the motion that was pretty solid.
Yes. Well, from Hannah Hunt to the psychology of dreams to products to flash people with, this has been another episode of us discussing some inferiorities. Until next time.